This video is coming to you from the channel entitled The Place of Refuge. And to get there, you just type in The Place of Refuge, lowercase, as one word, The Place of Refuge, and you'll get to all of my videos, which I started to publish because of some dreams that I had. And the original refuge has now changed, so I wanted to bring that feature out here for you. So you're looking at the new place I'm calling the Place of Refuge, and we'll give it some other names as we go on, and you'll see why. This location consists of a square, perfect square. It measures 40 miles and a little bit more by 40 miles. On the diagonal, when you measure across the diagonal, it's 57.69 miles. And across the other diagonal, it's 57.69 miles, which makes it a perfect square. And it's a little over 40 miles long and 40 miles wide. So there's something over 1,600 square miles involved in this area. This is in central Texas, and I'll show you the towns. I'll put them up. I hope you can read it. Okay, we have Goldswaith there. We have Hamilton over there. We have Hyco up at the top corner. We have Comanche, that side on the corner. We have Gustine, it's where I live. We have Pottsville. We have Evant down there. We have Bee House down at the bottom edge. We have Star also at the bottom. Pretty on the left side. Hassie up north by Comanche. Proctor even farther up north above Hassie. Energy there, and that's all the main towns in this area. There's a place called Van Dyke somewhere up in here, and a little place called Indian Gap here, and there's another little town, I believe it's called Center City, right in this area here. Okay, so this is the area that I'm calling the refuge now. And I'm going to leave all these places on there so you can see it as we go on. I might make them flash for you again if you can see it. Goldswaith right there. Hamilton right there. Hyco, top corner. Comanche. Gustine, Pottsville, Evant, Bee House, Star, Pretty, Hassie, Proctor, and Energy. Okay, so those are in Central Texas, in this area that I'm calling a refuge, the Place of Refuge, which is 40 plus miles by 40 plus miles. And on the diagonal it measures 57.69 miles both ways, which makes it a perfect square. Now there's another thing I want to show you about the refuge area. That there's something in it called the temple site. Now, why am I calling this the temple site? Well, because, see that, where I'm putting that? Because that's where the line, the latitude line from the temple site in Israel, where the Temple Mount is, comes through this area. Now, I didn't make any of this up, and none of this is thought out. I'll explain how it happened later. What I'm going to do is stick a map of Israel up here so you can see how it's situated. Now you can easily read Jerusalem. And so the city of Jerusalem comes within this refuge area, not by anything that I figured out. And the temple site, of course, is right at Jerusalem, Mount Moriah. So we could also call this Zion and Mount Zion, which is an unusual thing. So I'm going to leave everything like it is and go off in the distance here. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to put a white background up. So let's see here. Well, I guess the white background is up. We just can't see it because of the fact that the Israel map is there. So let me back off a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, there's some very unusual features about this area. I'm going to unclick all these towns that I put up. Give us a better view of what's going on. Okay, so all we have left up here is the Jerusalem map. We can go back a little farther in the temple site. Okay. Now what you're looking at from this angle is, this is where Jerusalem would come in the state of Texas if I brought it over here. Exactly. I just placed it just where it would come, latitude-wise, not longitude, of course. So it comes right in this area. Now, let me get rid of that picture of Jerusalem. And also get rid of the marker that says temple site on it. Okay, now, how did I arrive at all this? Well, back in 1998, on November the 1st, I was staying in the home of some friends in Bethel Springs, Tennessee, and I went to bed with my wife. I woke in the night sometime and just prayed that God would show me a place to go, a refuge for Christians to go during what I considered to be the soon coming tribulation. And I dreamed first sometime, and from that period that I dreamed of two doorways. They were out in a field, and on the right side there was a sign small sign that said nursery. So I woke from that dream. I fell asleep again, and I dreamed the word Wellington. I woke up again and fell asleep again, and I dreamed that there was somebody like a cowboy, and he said, I worked in Bottle Creek. And it looked like to me he was sitting by something like a creek. So I woke again, and I thought, well, where are these places? And I went to sleep for the fourth time and dreamed the word Texas. And then I woke up, and that was the end of that dream sequence on November the 1st, 1998. So in the morning, we began to search out these places. It's, not that I believe that they even existed, but it was just an unusual dream. And we first looked up Wellington, Texas. And as you can see, it's right here. And then at that point, someone said, maybe you're supposed to put a nursery in Wellington, Texas. And I did not tell the people about Bottle Creek. I don't know why. I didn't anyway. I was a little apprehensive about all of this. So probably a couple weeks later, when we went back home to Arizona where we lived, I thought, well, why not look up nursery in the road atlas for Texas? And sure enough, there was a nursery, Texas, way down here at the bottom. Well, that got me thinking, okay, Bottle Creek. So I went to the library and I looked up under U.S. Geological Surveys for creeks. I found none in Texas, but then lo and behold, I found one in Tillman County, Oklahoma, right near the Oklahoma-Texas border. It started like 7 miles in Oklahoma, and it ran south sort of southeast into the Red River, which is the border. So now I really got a feeling that God was doing something. He was showing me this. Previously, I've never had any dreams like this, okay? I'll clear up the matter. I'm not somebody who says they have all these dreams and, they're prophetic and whatever. No, this is really, I've had things happen to me, but not on this, let's say, this magnitude maybe. So at that point, I had 3 places, 3 points, but they were very distant from one another. So I thought, because of the area, because of the closeness of Wellington and Bottle Creek, the angle involved, but I would just draw a line down there, okay? So I did it and measured it on Google Earth, and, well, I did it on something else before. This was way before Google Earth was here. So it was 81 miles across this area, okay? And then from this Bottle Creek just across this triangle is 43 miles. The other distances are like 380, and I can't remember if it's 450 or something on the other side. So they're a long way apart. So then, as time went on, I prayed that God would show me where within this area I could find the refuge. So I'm going to try to take out something here. I'm going to take out this white marking that you see. So you can see that's a later discovery. And so are these lines here. So let me see if I can get rid of those lines too. West line, south line, east line, north line. Okay, so after I originally got this area, on December the 20th, 1998, I again prayed that God would show me where the refuge was within this larger area. And I went to sleep, and I actually dreamed of a vast and beautiful landscape stretched out before me, and I heard or saw, I believe I saw it, 3200 in the left corner. Large trees, and it was, and I wanted this to be at this place very much. I wanted it, but no one would tell me where it was. Well, I woke up from that dream. Well, no, I didn't wake up from that dream. Excuse me. The dream had 3 parts, so that was just the first part of the dream. The second part was about somebody who designated that a place called B House. Okay, as I understood it from the dream. So I then had a third dream that took place in what I consider to be a corral. It was a cornered area, and there was a wagon bed in there, and there was a lot of other features that I'm not going to go into. But so when I woke from that dream, I got a map in the morning, and I looked over this place, and I saw that there was a town called B House, and so I drew a line through there. And then, like the next day, I thought about the 32nd degree latitude line, which just comes right here across Texas, and I put another line in, and so there I considered that to be the refuge. Well, then later I went on to discover all the things about this area, and which was, of course, that Jerusalem, Israel, comes within it, and it actually goes around Austin. You can see where that area is going off and on there. Let me blow it up a little bit for you here, maybe. I don't know. Okay, you can see Austin. I'll again make it flicker for you right there. Okay, that's Austin, Texas. Right there, the capital of Texas. So, and across that area is only 12 miles. So it is within this triangle, which is something to me. So that was another reason that I thought, surely God must have revealed this to me. So we have Austin, Texas in it. And you see Nursery, Texas is just a little burg down here. Okay. Then we found other things, like that this Jerusalem comes right through this area. So we've got that. That another confirmation that this is, like I said, Zion, Mount Zion. So another thing also I would like to show you is that we're really in the center of the United States. Let's see if I can find everything that I want here. Center line. I should have marked all this out, know where it is, but I'm having some problems finding all the, all right, here. Maybe you can see that line going off and on. Yeah, you can see it. Okay, now, and I'll also put the center marker for the United States, and I'm going to make this really small. Okay, now, the center of the United States, or used to be, is Lebanon, Kansas, so it's right there. So as this comes down into this refuge area, the place of refuge, Mount Zion, the place where the people of God are to come, congregate. It's a big boast, isn't it? Huh? But I believe it's true. I believe it with all my heart. There you can see the line for the center of the United States just crosses the edge of the refuge right there. So most of the refuge is to the east. Okay, this was the refuge, and I had about, I think, 6 dreams that went on to give me the road that I live on, 360, out of Gustine. And then I came here and couldn't find anything, and I went home in Arizona, and I prayed again that God would, do something, because I have to find a place here. So I dreamed of a person jumping between a pile of small rocks, round boulders in a pile, and the person was between that and a huge round, perfectly round rock boulder that was cut in half. So you would just be looking at a circle on one part and just a pile of boulders on one side. So in the dream, someone said that, see if I can find the exact quote here, because everything that I dreamed was all written out. I mean, I wrote it, I documented it, so so I would remember every part of it. So this particular part of the dream, as like I said, the first dream was November the 1st, 1998, and then I had a second dream, but I prayed. I mean, every time I prayed on December 20th, 1998, and so then I had a third dream, which designated this area. I prayed on December the 23rd, 1998, and then I came here for the first time on February the 1st, 1999. I then came again on March 1st, 1999. On March 20th, I prayed that God would show me the exact place, and that's when the road that I live on was shown to me. And I came here, and there was nothing for sale at the time. I came here on April 11th, 1999, and nothing was for sale at that time. I then went home. I went on to Tennessee, then I came back through here on April 19th, 1999. Nothing was for sale. So I then went home to Arizona, and I prayed on May 16th that God would do something, and I didn't feel very good about all this. And that's when I had this dream, and it says, that night, or close to morning, I dreamed of a pile of large rocks that were to the left, and a huge, perfectly round boulder bigger than a person to the right. It was cut in half, but the other half was not there. There was a person between them that would go on the pile of rocks and then toward the boulder. They didn't know what to do, as they were totally confused. Then another person that I could only see from the back of their head said, "No, it's not there," meaning the pile of rocks, and "it's not there either," meaning the boulder. "There is a table carved out of the rock," meaning the other half of the boulder. "It's back there on your land. Go and see. It's back there. You'll see." The person between the pile of rocks and the boulder finally understood what was said. Okay, so what happened then is that I made another trip back to this area, and there was a for sale sign on this property. So I made a bid for it, and I got the property. So it's close to 38 acres. There was an irrigation well with a 5 horsepower pump on it that's a little over 100 feet, let's say 110 feet. It gives 82 gallons a minute. And the whole property was just about completely flat except for the front part of it, and it drops off. And it's very good land for growing things, not rocky or anything like that. And it was all fenced off, had 6 wires, barbed wire fence, pretty new fence around it. So I ended up buying this property and moving here. And I've lived here for over 13 years. And so that's the area that you see there is the refuge. And in time, or, I discovered these things about it being exactly in the same latitude line as Jerusalem, Israel, and the other things about it. Austin, Texas is there. I found that a long time ago when I took a road map and just found nursery and Wellington right there, Wellington, Texas, and then if you go down here, there's a bridge that crosses, I think it's the 183 to Davidson, and Fredericksburg, I guess is up here, but Davidson, Oklahoma. Well, this Bottle Creek just comes right down. It's about 3.3 miles east of there and falls into the Red River. So you could take those measurements and produce the same results yourself. And if you see some of my other videos, you'll get some maybe more specific information as latitude, longitude. So that's how I got here, or there's, so I'm going to take off this center path and this center place. So we're located in the center of the United States, in the southern portion of the United States, okay? Now, in this day and age, people they don't believe this stuff. They don't believe something like this can happen. There's people around here seem to believe it because they live here, but others say outside of the area, that's just for you. You're supposed to go there, but nobody else. Every place else is it's good enough. There's many refuges. Well, I don't know where they would be, but you can think that over yourself. I think this is an ideal location, and I received it all through dreams. Nothing that I figure out at all about this area. So I figured it out all through dreams. So this was the area that I considered the refuge, and I did not think anything more would come out of this. I mean, sometimes I doubted myself, could I have just made all that? No, that's obvious that I couldn't have made it up. But in time, okay, on October the 5th of this year, 2012, as I was looking at this, I decided to draw a line straight down and intersect it, by getting the proper coordinates there, and intersect it, and one on the other side, like you see there. I added on to it. Well, then I looked at that and I said, well, that looks like a square. So I took my measurements, fill that in for you. I took my measurements, and sure enough it was, and I checked the diagonal, and 57.69 miles makes it a perfect square. So you do whatever you want. You can watch the rest of my videos. The place of refuge as one word, type it in, and this is the result right here of my dreams. And I think that we're approaching the time of the end time right now at this area. And I think that this is the time for people to move to this area and start developing something. I believe that this area is under the protection of God. Almighty God will protect us in this area. And this is Mount Zion, or Zion. I would love to see the city of the living God be built right in the center of this. Why not? Plenty of water here. It's a beautiful spot. If you think I'm off my rocker, well, you would be too if you had these dreams. And it's my duty and responsibility to warn you that there's a place you can go, and God has made it available. I'm going to stop now. So thanks for watching. May the Lord bless you as you pray and search out his will in this.